My first question is a fairly simple one, but what were your first steps when preparing to play Simon?
My first steps were circumstance, meaning when I got when I first got the email, it's a bit cliche, but I did get the feeling. So normally when my agent sends me an email saying you got an audition, I go, confirmed receipt. Thanks, John. But this one I go, there's something there. And I don't know why, but for a few weeks, what I ended up doing is I took every scene in the audition sides and I would rehearse them in real time. For example, if they have like a classroom scene, I went to the neuroscience building at UCLA and I would just rehearse all the scenes in the empty lecture hall. If Simon's with his earphones and he's leaning against a tree trunk, I would go in front of Powell Library. This is during the summer when there's like no one there on campus. And I would just rehearse the scenes wherever they were. And what ended up happening was when I had to do like the callbacks with Peyton and everyone, I would basically use all of the location impulses that I received from those rehearsals and apply them. So when I leaned on the tree at UCLA and listening to my earphones, a leaf had flown by and I tried to catch it during my so I was on Zoom with them and I was talking to Peyton like this and I was doing this and they were like, what is this guy doing? But that's I think that's what I wanted to do is match it perfectly because dialogue in the middle of space and dialogue in a cafe are extremely different. So that was my first step of preparation was matching the location of it. And that later got me to the next steps of getting the role.
Yeah. Now, you and Peyton, your characters obviously have a close relationship. Did you guys do anything offset to kind of work on building that dynamic?
Mhm. Yeah, well, one of the first bits of advice I got, just even like entering the industry, was how difficult it is for for actors to rehearse when they're not being paid to rehearse because preparation's so private. So I was like, darn, I really wish, how School Spirits was a play and we could just go over each other's houses and rehearse. But what I ended up doing is I texted Paige, I'm like, hey, I really want the show to be good. And she said, yeah, I really want this to be good too. I'm like, do you want to come over every night? And so while we shot in Vancouver, we're going into each other's hotel rooms pushing the chairs back. And if we have a night shoot or a morning, it doesn't matter. We're with each other every day. And so that's sort of my philosophy is that bonding with your your castmates at Disneyland is one thing to build a bond, but to really surrender to the work and like to die every night with the script in your hands, it gives you a deeper comfort than any kind of bonding activity. So yeah, Payne and I, we're not like best friends going to concerts, but every time I'm in a scene with her, Russ, we both sort of look into each other's eyes and go, "You ready to go there?" And she goes, "I'm ready to go." Their scenes aren't very happy. That's why their character changes so much. Yeah.
Not the happiest of circumstances.
Mhm.
Um, Now you didn't get to spend much time with the Afterlife cast on screen, but did you still get to, spend a decent amount of time with them on set and while, making the production?
Yeah, I to be honest, there is definitely the inherent innocent social divide because we do film on different days. So we only catch each other playing billiards and drinking beer on the weekends in Vancouver, but we're not on set on the same days a lot of the time. If we do, towards the end of the show when we all got a little bit closer, we would just take an Uber to set and watch behind the monitors on our day offs. I'd watch like Milo Manheim scenes and go, "Wow, this Wally character is really freaking funny. Better than what I read in, the script. He really brings it to life." And he would come by and watch me and like play chess with me if I have a break. So over time, we started to get more involved in each other's work days, even when we're not called.
Hmm. Is there anyone from the cast that you're hoping for more scenes with next season? Like I know it's a little complicated given the living death circumstances, but
Hmm. Man, Simon as a ghost. That would be a different, that'd be a different plot. Um, I have two. So the first is the actress who plays Maddie's mother, Sandra, I think
Mhm.
Maria Ditzia. She is hell of an actress. Like, yeah, I don't even know how to explain it. You're watching her and the way she moves with her voice and the air around. She literally controls the air around her. And I'm like, I didn't learn that in drama school. How do you control the air? She's like an avatar airbender, you know what I mean? It's amazing. I would want to do more scenes with her just for selfish actor reasons. But I also, my second response is I need more scenes with Xavier.
Yeah.
Spencer McPherson, you know, Maddie's ex-boyfriend. I think that him and Simon make a good duo in terms of two young men just trying to get at the bottom of things. Let's break into the police station. Let's figure this problem out at the school dance. I like their bromance. Yeah.
When making a show, obviously, and this goes for movie shows, anything, but there's a lot can be cut. Can you do you remember any like notable scene, like deleted scenes or moments from the first season that you're like, ah, I wish that made it, but
In Simon's final scene of the show, he's convinced that he's gone insane. So after he speaks to Maddie in the little dark theater, he storms out of the school and goes off his bike and rides off. What I wanted to do was because when you push out the emergency doors in the school after hours, the sirens will blare, and the script wrote that the sirens will blare. So what I wanted to do was I wanted him to react to the sirens blaring as he thinks he's going insane. The volume's too loud, he's insane, and the trigger, the traumatizing trigger of a sound cue of the wee wee causes him to go, I can't, I'm insane, psychotic. And I think it's just a good exit for him in the show because it leads more dramatically to the second season. But I think the director pulled me to the side and go, hey, yeah, don't do that. And I went, okay.
so
Yeah.
yeah, too much, too much.
Yeah.
Um, Now, who among the cast do you think broke most often?
Who's the breaker?
Who's the breaker? Is it you? Are you guilty?
Um, I'm the guy the director has to go, hey, whoa, 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 whoa. Not breaking. I say I'd give it to Sarah Yarkin. I'd give it to Sarah Yarkin and the Charlie and Rhonda are the biggest goofballs. Um, and I think that they need to be. I think they got cast because their personalities are they're so large. If you talk to Sarah Yarkin in real life, she's such a strong person, and I love what she has to say. But it also like she'll talk nonstop. So it's her and Charlie that are really yeah.
Yeah. We mentioned, you mentioned briefly, the idea of Simon being a ghost. So hypothetically, if Simon were to ever end up in the school's afterlife, what incident do you think would have done him in? Freak accident, slight mistake, got into a fight?
Okay. Honestly, the thing about Simon is that he, in an effort to try and solve something and help out his friends, will actually get himself killed, Russ. And it might be a stupid thing. And it might be, oh God, I slipped on the stairs. Or oh, I had to go run because as soon as he sees the suspect in the woods, his first immediate instinct was to run after, and that's the sort of like the brave heart in him. I wouldn't call him reckless. I would just call him like such a loyal friend that he doesn't think of himself, so he will touch the hot pan when it drops just so that it doesn't fall on his best friend's foot. He'll burn his hand. So that guy's either gonna get stabbed in the throat by or he's gonna get, yeah, I don't know, he's gonna slip and fall, but he will definitely do it in search of some desperate act. Yeah.
Yeah. The big twist for season one at the end was that Maddie was never really killed at all. Instead, Janet went right into her body and took over. Did the cast know about that twist ahead of time, or was that kept a secret as long as it could?
God, the biggest secret, and all of us had in our hotel rooms the little strings attached to figure out who the hell killed Maddie, and then I had on my notes app this list of predictions. We weren't given the script a week before. It took so every 7 days we'd get the next episode, but it would be after we filmed the last. So we were always on our toes. I think that was the best part of the smartest idea for the creators was not to give us the answer so that we can all play our scenes fully. You know, I it definitely gave us a lot. But yeah, none of us knew. It was a pain in the ass. It was so fun. We were so off. Oh God.
Who did you think killed her?
I thought she had killed herself and then just forgot. Um but I did think it was Nicole because the this is so funny. In the pilot, Nicole's entrance to school spirits is her saying, "We're throwing a party." But there was like a pink draft right before, like 2 hours before we shot. It was sent in our email. And I reread my whole preparation is rereading the script, as many times as I can. I noticed that they put Nicole enters and they added with a tired look on her face. We're throwing a party? And I went, killer. Boom. Why is she tired? Why did they add that? And so I was pretty convinced since, day one that it was her.
Who did Peyton think? Who does she think killed her character?
I think Peyton thought that Maddie got caught at the wrong place at the wrong time with some drug deal with Mr. Anderson. And they thought because of her, I think she said this, yeah, she thought that because of her blonde hair, that someone killed her and thought, I don't know, something like that she was like an innocent, collateral. Yeah.
Yeah. For you, what was the hardest scene to film assignment?
Hardest scene for me to film was at the same time the easiest. What I mean by that was, uh, early up on the shooting schedule, they had Simon's enormous scene where he confesses to his teacher how much he misses his best friend. And I remember doing that and having like very gently to tell my cast, hey guys, I'm just gonna move my chair up to the other room because I can't quite like there are so many jokes on set because we all want to be there and we're all young and it's so cool to film a TV show. But I was just so distracted that I kind of had to put my chair in and I was just thinking about what it really means to lose someone. And when I did the scene, it was so easy to do because we all have so much pain inside of us. Simon, is basically the childhood best friend of Maddie, and you basically lose half of yourself. It was so easy to shoot because, the emotion just it comes out when it comes out. But what made it hard, I guess, was the aftermath of letting your mind rummage through all of your own personal pain. It's like they yell cut and you're thinking about, you know, the funerals you've attended, and then some PA yells, "Okay, guys, and we have grilled cheese for lunch and mac and cheese and lobster." And I just go, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, what? Mac and cheese?" Like it's just like the contrast of working as an actor on set is so laughable because you think you're in your own world, your universe, you're creating your own thing, and that's what you get paid for. And then 30 seconds later, everyone is drinking matcha tea at their trailer. So it's just like some awkward kind of, yeah, contrast I never get comfortable with, but it was the hardest to deal with it. Yeah.
Was there ever a moment where maybe you as an actor didn't necessarily agree with what Simon was doing, or you had to take a second to come to that understanding?
Mm, I suppose you could say that's a very intelligent question. I suppose you could say in his last moment where he thinks that he's crazy, he runs off and dismisses her because he does see the phone, um, and he knows she's alive. Me, it's not that I would agree with what he did of leaving. It's just that my own weakness, I would compromise my own rationality to be with the ghost. So I'm so weak that I would fall for, I go, I know I'm a psychopath. I know I'm crazy. I'm insane, but could we just like talk like you're a ghost? You're not really, I would want to be around her apparition. I don't
Yeah.
know if, it's just sort of like drugs or, I like drugs or like that. I don't know if I could muster up the character or bravery to go on and I would I would surrender. I would make that compromise and be with her ghost. Yeah.
What do you think it's going to take to convince Simon that she's real? It seems like a pretty hopeless situation right now.
hmm hmm I suspect that they're gonna have a lot of scenes in the high school where she's standing in front of him and she's yelling at him, "You're not crazy," and he has to mute her and shut her out and say, "No, no, 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 you're not real. You're not real." Um, but through that kind of that shield, that distance, she has to be able to reach and connect to him, you know? I think it's actually gonna put the weight on Maddie. How can you convince someone that they aren't insane? I don't know. That is her homework.
Outside of that immediate situation,
Yeah.
what do you think Simon's going to do next? I mean, now he knows there's at least some version of Maddie that's alive, which I guess he assumes is the real Maddie. What's his next step? Is he just going to let it all play out, or is he going to go looking for this person who's now wherever they happen to be?
Simon's on the hunt, Russ. Simon's on the hunt. He's going. I know he's going. He might not have a helmet or knee pads, but he's headed in the direction and he's gonna find her. The only thing is that I don't know if he's gonna seek out help, if he's gonna deploy help from Xavier or Nicole or Claire. I don't know if he's gonna try to go solo because he's, so within himself up here, embarrassed of having imagining her. Um, so it's either he goes alone or he goes with others, but he's gonna have a spear in his hand and he's gonna get his best friend back.
Now, there seems to be, a clear romance kind of that is has been brewing or is kind of almost there for both you and Maddie. Um, but given this bump in the road, my prediction is that, Maddie might get a little time with Wally and that might grow. So do you think that there's a love triangle in the future?
I'm speechless right now because I just realized the the layers of the love triangle isn't just, oh, I have to pick between a guy I like and a guy I love, a guy I kind of like, but this guy has this. It's not that. Technically, what it is it's uh, a character, Maddie, who has to decide, will I love a person who I am stuck with as a ghost and just embrace my own fate? The smarter thing, Wally, or am I gonna go ahead and risk trying to fix myself and give Simon hope and him being the real world answer, the real life answer, probably a slimmer chance, but something a little bit more genuine and built. So is it like, I don't want to call Wally settling, but you're basically choosing immortality, be with, Wally essentially forever, or be with Simon for 80 years. That's actually the stakes. And I wonder what is more important to people. Because that's literally a love that lasts forever, isn't it? Oh,
Yeah.
I love the jock and we're gonna be together forever. Well, yeah, you are. Until the ghost world, erupts inside of itself and disappears. But I wonder if she's gonna go ahead and choose what I would classify as the deeper love, but the more temporary love. Definitely there's a love triangle. And it wasn't until you said that term out loud that I realized that's a pretty complicated position.
Do you guys know when you're gonna start filming season 2 yet? I know the strikes delayed everything, but
hmm Everyone's operating on their own schedules a little bit after. They are writing the series. My best prediction is we're all going to be in Vancouver in the summer. Yeah, it's going to take a couple months for the writers to get back into the room and hash out the second season. I think we're looking at a summer start date.
Gonna make us wait till 2025. That's what it sounds like. Till we hear what happens next. When it comes to the next batch of episodes, what are you most excited to explore or do with Simon? And it doesn't even have to be with your character, just being
Mhm.
back on set.
Yeah. You know, it's it's so rare for a group of actors to meet again. How it kind of works is, oh my God, I saw you 8 projects ago. It's like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, 8 projects ago. There are more pilots than second seasons, right? So just to be able to be in the space with actors who you've built a relationship with, I think our performances will dramatically improve. I'm interested on yeah, I'd say on the technical improvements of our chemistry and how that's going to translate on screen. What I've built with Peyton and all of our other actors and just getting back at it again. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's going to lead to good things.
Big question for my last inquiry
Yeah.
here. How many seasons do you think this story is gonna go? Is this one of those like supernatural 10 plus seasons? Is it gonna be a 3, 4 season close knit story?
Well, I think that the graphic novel is going to come out um next year, and we'll finally be able to get the ending, and then we'll be able to see if the seasons adjust to the same pace, how it'll look, a 3 season show or a 5 season show. Um, I think that because of the ghosts world and their sort of immortality, there's an invitation to allow new characters uh, to exist in the series, and not maybe necessarily in Split River, Wisconsin. Um, I could see that. I do see though that not to be cynical of anything, but due to the nature of all of us being at our youth, a high school series ceases to be a high school series when we look 26.
Yeah,
So
true.
we're not gonna play it like the obvious. Everyone's so real that works on it. Nate and Megan, the writers of the show, they're brothers and sisters. They're so real. They love horror movies and they hate bullshit. So they're gonna call it when they call it. And so I trust them what they're gonna do, but they're not gonna let an audience sit through is Xavier growing a beard? Is it he just had
That
his
becomes a
graduation
plot point.
yesterday. Yeah,
Yeah.
well,
I said that becomes a plot point. David
yeah.
Beard
Yeah.
coming in. Well, yeah. Well, thank you for talking with me about school spirits. I look forward to more. Sadly, I gotta wait probably over a year, but life.